بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Dear students of Operational Management course, today inshallah we will start with a new chapter, chapter number 15, and this is the last chapter in this course, short-term scheduling. The previous lecture we start or in the previous chapter we start to talk about the aggregate planning, which is an intermediate range plans which is take time from 3 to 18 months. And there is several issues related to aggregate planning, such as sales, operating planning, setting employment, inventory, production planning, subcontracting levels, and so on. And today, inshallah, we will talk about the same point, but in more details. We will talk about the short-term plans or the short-term scheduling, which is take a time up to 3 months. ممكن يكونوا daily or hourly, and there are many issues related to short-term scheduling, such as job assignment, ordering, job scheduling, dispatching, overtime, and so on. So let's start to know or to discuss what is the main objective of scheduling. So the main objective of scheduling is to allocate and prioritize demand. Allocate, it means who is going to do what, which machine going to do what. And prioritize, it means to determine the sequence of jobs or the processes in order to meet specific demand. And the demand, it can be generated by either forecasts or by customer orders to available facilities. So again, the main objective of scheduling is to allocate, to determine who's going to do what, which machine going to do what, and also to determine the sequence of processes or the jobs needed to meet a specific demand, which is generated by forecast or customer orders to available facilities within the organization. So again, the efficient scheduling of an organization is how manufacturing companies drive down costs and meet promised due dates. Okay, so what is the main importance of short-term scheduling? Effective and efficient scheduling can be a competitive advantage. So the short-term scheduling is very important because it will lead to generate a competitive advantage for the company. So if it is or if you perform an effective and efficient scheduling for your manufacturing, so you have a competitive advantage. And this of course will lead to internally effective scheduling. It means faster movement of goods and services through facility and greater use of assets. Okay, so for the organization, the main importance of short-term scheduling, it will make a faster movement of goods or the finished goods through a facility. It means better use of assets, best utilization of the assets and the facilities within the organization, and of course to decrease the costs and especially the fixed costs. Additional to that, capacity resulting from faster production improves customer service through faster delivery. Okay, here we have an additional capacity resulting from faster production improves, which is lead to a faster delivery for the customers. And as we said before, that the faster delivery for the customers, it means high response for customers need, and this is main strategy needed for competitive advantage or to achieve a competitive advantage. And at last, good schedules result in more dependable deliveries. Okay, so again, the main importance or the strategic importance of scheduling can be summarized in 2 main points. The first one, internally, it means it will make the movement of goods and services more faster, and it will lead to a greater use of assets, and the result is greater capacity per dollar invested, which translated into low cost, especially for the fixed cost. And externally, good scheduling, it means fast production and more flexibility and more dependable delivery and improving customer service and make the customers more happy. Scheduling issues. Scheduling deals with the timing of operations, and the task is the allocation and prioritization of demand. As we said before, that the main objective of the short-term scheduling is to allocate and prioritize the demand for the customers. The main and the significant factors which is related to scheduling, here we have three main factors. The first one, which is focusing on the time, whether forward or backward scheduling. The second one, which is focusing on the capacity, if we use finite or infinite loading. And the last one, the criteria of sequencing jobs. So this is the main factors related to scheduling. Inshallah, we will discuss it in more details. This figure shows the scheduling decisions which is taken by different organizations such as the airlines, hospital, universities, and so on. So here we have the organization and the managers schedule the following. As an example, in a university, we have to make a scheduling, for example, scheduling for the students, number of students that should be in a specific classroom, the number of classrooms, the equipment uses by the staff in order to conduct the lectures, the instructor schedule, graduate and undergraduate courses, and so on. So scheduling is needed for service sector and for the manufacturing sector. This is the scheduling flow. As you see, it is a series of decision effective the scheduling. The first one starts from capacity planning, which defines the facility and the equipment resources available within the organization. So in the capacity planning, it is a long-term strategies or long-term plan, which is focusing on the facility, the equipment, which is and the resources available within the organization. After that, okay, we have the aggregate planning اللي حكينا عنها in the previous chapter, في chapter number 13, which is an intermediate range plans. ممكن تكون من 3 ل 18 شهر, maybe quarterly or monthly. Okay, التركيز هنا we will focusing on facility utilization, personal changes, subcontracting, production planning, setting employment, inventory. Okay, so and the aggregate planning, it is the result, as we said before, of a sales and operating a planning team that make a decision regarding the use of facilities, inventory, people, and outside contractor, which is related to subcontractors. Aggregate plans, as we said before, it is an intermediate range plan. Maybe it takes from 3 to 18 months. Okay. After that, we have a master schedule, or what we call it a disaggregate. Okay, it means we breaks down the aggregate plan and develop weekly schedule for a specific product or product lines. Okay, فبالتالي احنا هنا حكينا انه long term plans ممكن تاخد سنوات. بعد هيك intermediate plan اللي هي aggregate plan ممكن تكون 3 شهور 18 شهر. بعد هيك الماستر بلان اللي هي بتكون in more details أكتر اللي بتكون weekly. okay. وتصنف إنها intermediate also plan. في الماستر plans or master schedule we have to focus on the material requirements planning and it means a disaggregate of the the plans within the organization. It means breaks down the aggregate plan and develop a weekly schedule for a specific product or product lines. Okay, and at last, okay, for this chapter we focusing on the short-term scheduling. Short-term scheduling اللي هي short-term plans اللي عادة بتكون in days, hours or minutes. Okay, and the main issues related to it such as work center loading, dispatching, job sequencing, ordering job assignments, and so on. Okay, so for each of this step we have here a small example. The first step, as we said before, in the scheduling flow, we have to determine the capacity planning, which is a long-term plans. Adjust capacity to the demand suggested by strategic plan. After that, we have the aggregate production plan. Determine the personnel or subcontracting necessary to match the aggregate demands to existing facility or capacity. زي ما احنا شايفين انه مثلا هنا هيتم عملية تصنيع للبايك. okay. فعايزين في الشهر الأول 800 unit وإن month 2 850 unit، بس ما فصلنا في كل شهر في كل أسبوع كيف حتم. فبالتالي في الماستر برودكشن هتكون عندي اللي هي عملية التفصيل الأكتر disaggregate determine weekly capacity schedule. فالمنث الأول احنا حكينا حسب الأجريجيت بلان في عندي 800 وحدة هننتجها، لكن هنا هيتم التفصيل كم موديل هيتم إنتاجه. فعنا هنا 3 موديلز. مثلا موديل 22 أنا عايزة منه في الأسبوع الثاني من الشهر الأول 200 وحدة، وفي الأسبوع الرابع من الشهر الأول 200 وحدة. أوكي، فبالتالي أنا عايزة 400 وحدة مثلا من موديل 22. موديل 24 عايزة منه 200 يونت في الأسبوع الأول، عايزة منه 100 يونت، وفي الأسبوع الثالث من الشهر الأول 100 يونت. and موديل 26 عايزة منه 200 يونت في الأسبوع الأول من الشهر الأول 100 يونت، وفي الأسبوع الثالث 100 يونت. وإذا جمعنا number of units for month 1 حيكونوا 800 يونت، و month 2 طبعا المفروض انه يكونوا كمان 850 unit. فالفكرة انه انا عندي هنا ال total number of units. اوكي، وهنا حيكون عندي نوع من التفصيل في كل اسبوع كم حيتم انتاج من 800 وحدة. بعد هيك عندي اللي هو short term scheduling work assigned to specific personnel and work centers. Make a finite capacity schedule by matching specific tasks to specific people and machines. فهنا رح نشتغل كمان بتفاصيل أكتر daily in hours، مين اللي حيشتغل، إيش الماشين اللي حيتم العمل عليها، كم الكاباسيتي الموجودة عنا and so on. طيب, as we said before that we have 3 factors related to scheduling. The first one, which is focusing on time, whether to use a forward or backward scheduling. So the forward scheduling, it means starts the schedule as soon as the job requirements are none. Okay. لما يجي الاوردر او اللي يجي التاسك او الاساينمنت لإلي، مفروض انه انا ابدا مباشرة في اللي هو عملية الجدولة. Okay, so forward scheduling start as soon as the requirements are none. طبعا we have an advantage and disadvantages for this type of scheduling. It produces a feasible schedule through it may not meet due dates. okay. فبيحكي لي انه صحيح حيكون في عندي a feasible schedule لانه احنا حنبدا مباشرة من مجرد استلام الطلب في التحضير له، لكن it may not meet a due dates. Frequently result in a build-up of work in a process inventory. ليه؟ لأنه إحنا بنبدأ مباشرة من ساعة ما ناخد الطلب، فبالتالي ممكن تنتهي بعض العمليات في فترة مسبقة للديو ديت. كيف؟ فبالتالي إحنا هنضطر نروح نحطها وين؟ في الانفنتوري، وهذا طبعا يعتبر كوست على المنظمة. فهذه واحدة من العيوب للفورورد scheduling. Okay. forward scheduling ممكن استخدمها في طبعا الهوسبيتالز، في الكلينكس، في ريستورانتس. okay. ففي الامور اللي هي محتاجة نوع من العمل السريع. So again, in the forward scheduling, we start as soon as the requirements are none. But in backward scheduling, we begin with the due date and schedule the final operation first. Okay, فبنبدأ من due date، بنحدد ال due date. okay، فبعد هيك بتتم عملية اللي هو ال scheduling. فأنا راح أحدد متى حيكون تاريخ الاستحقاق، وبناء عليها ممكن أحدد متى أنا ممكن أبدأ عملية السكيدجولينج. مش بالضرورة تكون من لحظة استلام هذا الطلب. فبالتالي أنا لو بدأت مثلا من هنا وعملت سكيدجولينج، أنا هيك راح أقوم بتسليم الطلبات في وقتها. مش راح يكون في عندي نوع من الwork in a process inventory، فبالتالي مش هيكون عندي تكلفة. So also we have here advantages and disadvantages. A schedule is produced by working backward through the processes. Resources may not be available to accomplish the schedule. بيحكي this is one of the main disadvantage for the backward schedule، انه في لحظة من اللحظات ممكن تكون ال resources او ال equipment يصير فيها بعض العطل، فبالتالي هذا حيأخر عملية التسليم على ال due date، لانه انت فعليا لما بدأت من هنا انت ما عندك ولا لحظة ممكن تستنى فيها حتى تقوم بعملية التسليم. فبالتالي أي عطل لأي ماكينة resources مش موجودة، فبالتالي هيك ممكن يعمل لك بعض المشاكل مع الكاستمرز. So backward scheduling is used in manufacturing environment as well as service environments such as the scheduling surgery and so on. Often these approaches طبعا اللي هي forward وال backward scheduling are combined to develop a trade-off between capacity constraints and customer expectation. فعشان نطلع بخلاصة أفضل، فبقول لي ممكن إحنا نعمل mix between اللي هي the backward وال forward scheduling عشان نعمل نوع من اللي هو ال balancing أو ال trade-off between the customer's expectation and the capacity constraints. طيب second factor related to scheduling حكينا على اللي هو التركيز على capacity whether a finite or infinite loading. Okay, so first of all we wanted to define what do we mean by loading. Loading, it is the process of assigning jobs to workstations or processes. Okay, so scheduling techniques that load or assign work only up to capacity of the process, this is called finite loading. So again, what do you mean by loading? Loading, it means assigning jobs to work stations. Here we have the finite and the infinite loading. Finite loading assigns the work up to the capacity of the workstation. One of the main advantage for the finite loading, all works get done and all of the work assigned can be accomplished. Due dates may be pushed out. لكن كعيب للfinite loading انه the due dates ممكن يتم تمديدها لفترة أطول. ليه؟ لأنه أنا معتمدة على الكاباسيتي اللي هي المحدودة الموجودة داخل المنظمة، فإذا لم تكن كافية فبالتالي أنا ممكن أحتاج كمان وقت زيادة على due date عشان أنا أسلم المطلوب. okay. أما بالنسبة للinfinite loading doesn't consider capacity. All due dates are met. طبعا أكيد طالما هي غير محدودة فبالتالي راح تكون التسليم في أوقاته المحددة. capacities may have to be adjusted. ولكن طبعا الكاباسيتيز لازم يتم التعديل عليها، بمعنى انه نشتري مثلا equipments جديدة، آلات جديدة، لانه الطاقة بتكون محدودة داخل المنظمة، فبالتالي اذا انت بدك اياها تكون غير محدودة فبالتالي لازم تكون عليها عملية adjusting. ممكن تكون شراء آلات جديدة، مكان جديد او الى اخره من الامور. طيب the third factor related to scheduling criteria. Scheduling criteria, it means that we are making scheduling for specific importance, or what is my criteria, what is the importance of a scheduling, whether to minimize the completion time or to maximize the utilization of the capacity or the facility within the organization, or the best use of assets within the organization, or to minimize the work in a process inventory، لأن ال work in a process inventory كل ما هيكون أعلى طبعا راح يكون في عندي cost أعلى، and minimize the customer waiting time عشان أخلي عند ال customer more happy. Okay. Different processes with different approaches. Different processes suggest different approaches to scheduling. في عندي أكثر من process، طبعا حسب البروسيس بدي أستخدم اللي هو السكيدجول المناسب لها. ف for example معطيني هنا 3 processes وكيف ممكن يكون السكيدجول المناسب لها. البروسيس focus facility وحكينا عنه في chapter layout، البروسيس focus capacity أو أحيانا بنسميه ب الجوب شوب. أهم ما يميز البروسيس focus facility إنه we have different orders, variety of production and low volume. طلبات بتكون متنوعة، فالإنتاج متنوع، الآلات اللي هستخدمها متنوعة، زائد إنه الكميات كمان لكل نوع بتكون محدودة. So scheduling to customer orders where changes in both volume and variety of jobs, clients, patients, and frequent. Scheduling are often due date focus with loading refined by finite loading techniques, for example machine shops and cabinet shops. While في repetitive facilities اللي هي الأسمبلي لاينز، خطوط الإنتاجية عادة بيكون فيها الإنتاج بكميات كبيرة. Schedule module production and the product assembly based on frequent forecasts. Finite loading with focus on generating forward-looking schedule. Just-in-time techniques are used to schedule components that feed the assembly line. أكيد طبعا just-in-time هنا هتكون كتير مهمة لأنه إحنا بنشتغل على assembly line وفي عندي عدد كبير من المنتجات، فصعب إنه يتم الإنتاج ويكون في عندي work in a process داخل المخازن تبعتي. أما بالنسبة للproduct focused facility اللي إحنا بنسميه الcontinuous اللي هي عكس إلى حد ما البروسيس focused facility، هنا الإنتاج بكميات كبيرة high volume، ما بيكون في عندي اختلافات أو there is no variety of production، بتكون الاختلافات بسيطة جدا. So scheduling high volume finished products of limited variety to meet a reasonable staple demand within existing fixed facility. هنستخدم هنا finite loading with a focus on generating forward looking schedule that can meet non-setup and run times for the limited range of products. Okay. And again here we're focusing or talking about the scheduling for the process focus facility because the scheduling for this type of a process is very complex because we have a high variety of products, so we need a variety of equipments and the machines to be used and the talent of the customers with a low volume for each product to be produced. The production differ considerably. حتى العمليات نفسها هتكون مختلفة. Schedule incoming orders without violating the capacity constraints, so the scheduling here is very complex in the process focused facility. This is what we need for this chapter. Thank you for your listening and good luck.